the fighter and the kid. Had to run it back, cause we back at it again. Yeah, we gon' keep it moving like it's never gonna end. When it was Brendan, when it was Bryan, when it was just talking to friends. We got the kid Callen on the left, with the fighter on the right. Ay, had to do it right, cause we coming at you live. Back with the team, had to keep it OG, must see TV. Had to do it. Yes, we did, cause we back at it again. It's the fighter and the kid. Back at it again, it's the fighter and the kid. Back at it again, it's the fighter and the kid. It's the fighter and the kid.
This is really the fighter and the kid. We're out.
Come on, baby. TJ Miller.
Wow, and 3 claps.
3,
Yeah.
dude.
It was interesting.
Official.
Yeah.
I know you're used to these big movie set stuff like this. Big deal here, dude.
This is a big deal. Thicccboy Studios.
We don't play
What's
around.
up, brother?
I mean, how are you, man?
Just, hey, B, you didn't know this. A couple Denver thick boys.
Couple of Denver thick boys.
Couple mile-high thicks.
TJ, I looked at him and
Cheers.
I haven't seen him in a
303.
while.
303,
Mile high
brother.
till we die.
720.
Yeah, that's right.
5280.
Yep. You know what I did? I looked at him and I went, TJ, you're big. And he just reached over and patted me on the shoulder. He went, you're a good kid.
Well, I didn't know what to do. I mean, I'm not going to hug you because I might hurt you.
You just went,
And it's also
your big Scandinavian frame.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you'd react to it too, because I'm sure not too many 55-year-old men go, "Oh man, you're big."
Yeah, but I
You're
saw
like,
in
what?
Man Tears, sometimes if a man's handsome enough, you'll give a second gander.
You're damn right.
Oh
Damn right. I will.
right, I
He just
will.
quoted my stand-up. Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
this guy will. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We used to tour together. We'd be on a plane, like a big athletic black guy come on. He'd be like, What are you in the NFL?" I'd be like, "What? No."
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Brian, please don't do this.
do that.
Yeah, please don't do
Do you know the
that."
first time I met TJ? Do you remember the first time I met you? This is the strangest thing.
Well, no, what
You were on
was
the
it?
back of Jeremy Piven's back.
Oh, that's right.
We were doing a movie called The Goods, and I met
Called
TJ,
The
and he was
Goods?
Yeah, the
literally
goods die,
strapped to
live so
Jeremy
hard
Piven's
die.
back.
Yeah.
So weird.
Like a piggyback?
Yep.
And Jeremy Piven doesn't remember that, which I think is funny. But I saw him once. I was like, I was strapped to your back in the goods, and he was like, "Huh." That was it.
And he's like, "Oh, very cool."
That's all.
And,
All right, well.
and then did he go, "I do stand up too, TJ"?
Yeah, well, it was at it was at the Laugh Factory. That's where I met him and talked to him. He's really interesting. I mean, he was really like, "I'd love to get your number and talk to you, sit down and have coffee or whatever." So he's a really nice guy.
Yep.
But yeah, I was strapped to his back as a parachute instructor, and Neil Brennan, who directed it,
Love Neil.
He's great. He's so funny,
So smart.
and he did a really funny thing where we did one take, and then he came over and he was like, "Don't make any faces or anything." And I was like, "Oh," he's like, "You've got a goofy, weird face anyway,
Yes,
so
it
just
is.
like don't."
He's right. Neil likes that subtle. Don't gild the lily. Don't push the.
Yeah, but he didn't gild the lily on. He did gild the lily on telling me I have a weird looking face, and that was like the second movie I was in or something like that. But that was very, very weird. Yeah, you were in that, and then you've been in all these great movies.
Small parts in great movies.
Yeah, but that's huge. That's really important that you haven't been in a bunch
big
of
time movies.
movies. The Tank. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
The biggest. Yeah,
Hangover,
The Hangover is the
Wedding
biggest.
Crashers,
Old school.
The Joker.
And the Joker. Well,
Yeah,
got
that
cut
was
out of that.
really,
That's a
really
big
something.
deal.
That was a huge fucking deal. That was
Got
so
cut
cool.
out of that mostly, but your acting. It has always been.
Well, your stand-up for me has always been.
Your acting for
What were you
me.
gonna say? I thought,
You always make it look so easy.
that's how I feel about your stand-up.
Really?
You don't make it look hard. You make it look easy. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I remember one time. I remember I did. We did a set at the Improv, and you texted me, and you said, "You're really funny, man, and I'm a little depressed about my set right now." You just didn't feel good about your set, and you were like, "I just love watching you," and you were very complimentary, and then you were like, "I need to get my shit together," because you felt like you hadn't done well or something. It was so funny. And I remember going, "TJ, you're one of the funniest people in
so
the
funny.
world."
But I think what's amazing about you, it's really hard to follow you. Really hard to follow you. Because you have this very controlled physicality. So I've always thought of you as a physical comedian, but watching Man Tears, I see how you've really like pinpointed what works, and then you've sort of pared it down and shaved away. Because I think you started off as a really physical comedian.
Yes.
And in Man Tears, you've got all the giraffe stuff with the eyelashes.
You watched the whole
long
fucking thing.
eyelashes.
You watched the
Very
whole
long,
thing.
beautiful eyelashes. I want all the eyelashes. But then that's it.
Yeah.
So then you'll go on and you'll talk about, and I'm not going to ruin the end of it, but you'll go on and you're just talking, and it's straight stand up, and it's about the writing, the words. And then when it makes sense again to veer into the physicality,
He's going full penguin.
Yeah. And I love that. And then the ending of your special, of the entire special, is a physical joke. It's a completely physical joke. It's you say what it is, but it's just the ending of the special. It's just like, that's it. And
Yeah.
it's the funniest fucking thing because you also, I just hit myself in the head because you also, I'm bleeding. I am bleeding. You also sort of trick the audience, and I love this shit. This is my favorite kind of shit. You know what I mean? And all three of us love sort of fucking with the audience. You guys fuck with each other, and it's fun. And the audience loves it because they know that we're not like, it's all fun, And so the thing that I thought was so fascinating is you really tricked the audience into thinking that hey man, I've come to a point kind of, I've come to a point I'll sit down and just stand up and just break it down and talk about feelings and just something real. Finally something real. That's where I've gotten to my stand up.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to you about something real and really expose myself and be vulnerable.
And people are with you in there.
And then you just totally fuck them at the end. And it's so funny. And it's like, it kind of makes fun of also what can be really wrong with stand-up, which is people like soapboxing it. Because you already have a great joke. I have a joke right now that's like so hard to do, but it's similar to your iceberg joke. And I think...
I'm so flattered that you as a comic watched the whole fucking thing.
Well, I didn't watch the whole thing. No, I didn't watch the whole thing. I just skipped to 3 different things, and I was like, I'll just talk about those.
Yeah, just talk about
I'll start the middle of the ending.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No. I watched all the way through because there's something about that fucking with the audience, kind of. But you did all the political stuff you needed to do, and that all you really need to do is that iceberg joke.
Yeah.
And it's great because the audience is like, what's his deal? Whose side is he on? Kind of.
Yes.
And you're like, none of them.
I'm not on anybody's side.
Yeah,
I don't want to draw. But Alec Baldwin said something I never forgot. He said, "We go to the theater to laugh and cry," and I making people laugh throughout my career has never been. It's always been my thing, right? We'll talk about this in a second. I'm wearing a ring. I got married. I got married.
What kind of ring is it?
Well, it's a rubber ring. I can't wear.
It's a rubber ring.
I can't wear hard rings. It just gets in the way.
I've never seen Bryan in a ring. Any jewelry.
He's
Yeah, he's not really a jeweler.
Look,
No,
I'm
We're
wearing my
expecting him to
whoop,
show up with a bracelet.
Yeah.
and I'm wearing a whoop.
I see him messing with it. I'm like,
A whoop. I have an aura ring. That's right.
same thing. Yeah. I don't like
you?
those.
You
I
don't?
don't like either.
I like
because I don't
the
like. It's like after you do it for a few weeks, and then some days you're not going to feel good. And you still got to work out. Or you still got to do stand up. When it's like today's gonna be tough, shut it down. It's like, bitch, I got 3 shows in a day.
Yeah, right,
I can't.
exactly.
Like I don't want to set my mental frame where I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be sluggish. That's what the whoop said.
My thing is because I'm brain damaged, I need like 9 hours of sleep ideally, and it also has to be good sleep. So it really helps me with that. I mean, the whoop is the same thing.
Yeah.
Those
right?
same thing. But didn't you? Didn't you have to have surgery? Did
This
you
is
have
really funny and kind of
so
cool.
funny. I know,
Yeah.
it's like what?
Don't wear that anymore. But
love it.
didn't you have surgery?
Check this out. Yeah, I did.
Like a straight up brain
Pretty
surgery?
good one, right?
Oh, that's dope.
That's your
Little
wedding ring?
nail, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, that's pretty dope.
That's
Yeah.
the band.
I like
I
that.
just got a tattoo.
But it gets
But-
caught on shit and all exactly what
Yeah, that's
you're
the
saying.
problem.
Yeah.
Also, if you lose it, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
But
solid.
I was
gold.
saying about like there's something about making like you go to the theater to laugh and cry.
yeah.
And we
Sir, I gotta rein it in here. Jeez.
Dude, rain it
rain
in. The
it the
body
fuck
fuel
in.
daddy.
Rain in.
You just get all crazy.
It's got a lot of caffeine, by the way.
No! Yeah, I felt it
A
just
lot of
then.
How sick did I get when I drank 2 of those
He had to lie
whiskey and I take nicotine?
Well, I looked at him. He was
you think you
drenched
have
in
problems?
sweat.
I got problems.
Yeah,
He was
I like
drenched in
take
sweat.
nicotine. I think that's pretty funny. I was taking nicotine.
you
Say
were?
that instead of smoking cigarettes. I take nicotine. Oh, really? Yeah. I inhale it.
Did you ever smoke?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't. I don't like but I smoked cloves. That was something that's going in and out, but they're not addictive.
Yeah.
So it's really, really, it's great.
He's a walking pharmacy. He's got a lot of stuff running through his body.
Oh yeah, enjoy me while you can. I'll be probably another 3 years.
Yeah, that's it.
3
That's
years.
all.
Yeah. But you straight up had brain surgery, right? Or is
I
your Wikipedia?
did. Yeah, I had this thing called an
surgery on your brain.
Yeah, I had this thing called an AVM, and it was it's a malformation in your brain that happens when you're in the womb, and it was about the size of a golf ball, and it's more fragile than the rest of my brain, and so they had to embolize it, just put glue around it, and then take it out. So they took out a golf ball size of my brain.
It's like a 10% success rate.
What?
Yeah, that's right. There's only
10%.
1 out of 10 people die from this, and so they were like, they go,
90%.
do you want to? It's elective, and I said, well, will I still be funny after the surgery?
Jesus
And the
Christ.
guy's like, what?
The doctors are trolls. He's like, you
a
weren't
very
funny
important-
before.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Oh my God, that would be so.
That is what you.
Well, if he was like, well, let's
Maybe
be honest, you weren't funny before. Am I
Maybe-
right? They high five
maybe
the
you will
nurses.
finally- maybe you will be funny. Finally, they're just.
We're
like-
hoping it makes you funnier.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But that is where you
Oh,
lobotomize
fuck.
somebody, right? So
Yeah, kind of. I mean, you go straight in here. So what was weird was I didn't use this. So what he said was, he goes, well, it's not, you don't really use that part of your brain, so I think you'll still be funny. But part of him was
I
like,
think
oh my
you'll still be
God.
funny.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he
Jen.
said, I
Don't
think
show him
so.
that.
He said, it's elective surgery. You don't have to get it. I said, well, what happens if I don't get it? He's like, you'll probably die in your mid-30s.
What?
And so I go, well, let's roll the dice, see what this is all about.
You'll
Yeah,
probably
dude.
did he
I
really
lived
say that?
through it. Yeah. And so now, and
guy's
always,
It's not selective surgery.
I have I have mania. So that's what I have to medicate because my brain ostensibly has to work harder than all of yours because it has less brain matter. And so that's created a lot of problems where I've tried to medicate that.
Yeah, that's my problem, too.
Really?
No, I think
Well,
mine's CT.
That's the nicotine.
That's the nicotine.
That's all the nicotine
And the Denver
that you're
water.
taking. Yeah, and the Denver water. And so that's what's created a lot of problems for me is it made me very successful because I could do this and these 5 things and I would just say I'm good at. But it would also get, when it veered over into and I was self-medicating for a long time, just all depressants, drinking, nitrous oxide. And,
wow.
Yeah.
Poppers?
Yeah,
Poppers?
yeah, poppers.
Yeah, poppers.
Oh yeah, where's that handsome little boy?
Yeah,
and
that's for anal sex.
Yeah,
right?
That'll open, that'll open your shit right up. Numbs things up.
And so then now I do this thing called cognitive remediation, but I had a misunderstanding with the federal government. It was because I had a manic episode. When you have a manic episode, you believe everything is real that you're thinking. You believe that you've got to get ahead of it and even become more manic.
Is that like schizo
It's like
almost?
a drug too. Yeah, you can. I had a psychotic split once, and it's so hack. It ends up being really hack because everything that they talk about happens to you. So you think the television is talking to you for sure. You think that the government is watching you.
Do you remember?
There's
Do you remember
drones.
feeling crazy?
The Chinese government is looking through. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
I'm
but
kind
you
of on
just
board
believe
on all
it's
those
real.
points.
Yeah,
I know.
I'm
right?
kind of on board. Maybe I have
Conspiracy
it.
theorists is just it's a day to day.
Yeah. For Alex Jones, he's like, you're talking about life.
Yeah, you're talking about every day of the week. But so, they kind of, now I do this cognitive remediation and it's weird stuff. Like I never feel tired. So I think there are other people that are like that, but I don't drink
don't feel
coffee
tired.
really. And so what I have to do is I have to look in the mirror and see, this is part of the remediation, and say, do I have physical signs of being tired? If I do, have I been yawning? Do my eyes look this way? And if I do, then I need to go to sleep.
It's almost
But you
a
don't
superpower.
feel tired. You
As a
don't-
comic, that's a
No,
superpower.
I don't feel tired at all. And that's the thing.
It's a
I
superpower.
could do so many fucking sets. And that's why I moved to New York, because my dream forever has been to be a Manhattan comic.
Yep.
And a big part of that is I can do 5 sets. My record right now is 8 sets in one night.
Fuck.
Mine was 6. That's
Really?
impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
No,
somebody
that's
did
really
6.
impressive because you've got to bounce with 6.
did.
You got to figure out a roadmap.
Yeah.
You got to start uptown, or you're going to make
I would
your
start
way
at I
uptown.
started the comic strip.
Yeah,
up on
that's-
8th.
yeah.
Then New York Comedy Club.
Yes.
Then Boston Comedy Club. Then New York Comedy Club down on 24th
Yes.
Street.
Cellar?
Yeah, and then no, I
There's
didn't
Greenwich
do
Village
Cellar.
Comedy Club,
Yeah, I
and there's
just did.
all these
I
downtown.
And I did a couple of sets that were like rebar.
Yeah, just book shows. that are at
It'd
a
be tough
bar.
to do 8 in LA. You could
Yeah.
do.
It's
Impossible. I've done my record.
I was gonna say
is 4.
5 or 4. Yeah, you could do that.
used to always
4
do-
you could do.
yeah.
Maybe I did do 5, but I don't.
You do
think
5
so.
here.
You can mostly do 3 if
then
you're
at the
in at the
open
Laugh
mics-
Factory and
Yeah.
you just go up and you do whatever. But that was my thing, is I just wanted to do sets. And so now finally I am kind of more remediated. And that's really interesting too, because I don't feel the same high from the mania, but it is nice to kind of be able to say, all right, tonight I'm not going to do a set, or this. I think now the good thing for me would be to go and to get into bed and just close my eyes, and then I will fall asleep.
That'd be tough to manage.
Yeah, it's very, it's very strange. But at the same time, it's really tough to manage if you're married to me. I think I was going to
ask your wife, because she didn't sign up for this, right? Until you got diagnosed, she's like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But I know her from college. So we've known each other since we were like 20.
What, George Washington?
Whatever.
Right?
Yeah, GW. He really does.
I went to American.
He really?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
I almost
my
went
God.
to George Washington.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. Kate and I got scholarships, and hers was for it was called the WHIP program, which I think is very ironic. It's Women in Power. WHIP.
Women.
the
She
whip.
got a scholarship for the WET program.
Yeah.
The
That was
WAP.
much-
She got the
that was
WAP
much better.
program. Yeah.
Women on Power.
Women in Power.
Yeah, Women Entertaining TJ is the WET program. And so it's really interesting because we both got scholarships, but hers was for a essay that she did on female genital mutilation, FGM.
Somalia
And exactly. So it was really serious. So then she got a scholarship into this program. Mine just showed up, and it was like, you got a presidential academic scholarship, and I didn't apply for it.
Damn.
And I was like, what the fuck is this about? And I guess they just wanted to bring their like test scores of people coming in up. And that was it. Because I didn't have any recommendations for my high school. Only two
got straight A's?
teachers would know. Only 2 teachers would give me recommendations. Everybody else literally was like, I can't write you a
We
good.
just can't.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I mean, what a fucking horrible thing to say to a kid.
Asshole.
I don't believe in you.
Yeah.
I simply don't believe in you. So
cannot
go
recommend
to a
you.
drama teacher and see if they'll draft something
Yeah.
up. And
What was your academic? You got an academic.
so it was academic because I scored high on the SATs. That's it. They just wanted to bring that up to be like average score is 860 or
yeah,
whatever
but
it
it's
was.
really interesting to me because when I watched you on,
Because I tested really well.
well, but when I watch you on Silicon Valley or I watch you on, I'm watching like a really different choice. Like I'm watching a really good actor who looks super trained because the character you played on fucking Silicon Valley and any other thing, there's this. You have this ability. It's like maybe the tempo of your voice, and you get away. You can get away with anything because you just have that
I
natural
sound
stamp.
like just a chain smoking drag queen.
You just
Been out all last night belting out Billy Joel.
yes, you can do that and just talk. But you were doing something very specific on Silicon Valley. This self-entitled fucking guy who's just clueless but self-important.
Yeah, but
that had to
also
have been a
so
choice,
insecure,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, but
No, I mean, yes.
Is that from studying acting in a class, or is that
You
was that
were
your
trained, didn't you? You were trained in
Yeah, I
Europe,
I
in
went,
UK, right?
But that was for in Paris, but it was circus arts. That's what I was learning.
Shakespeare?
Well, I
too,
did
right?
go to British Academy of Dramatic Arts, but
Okay.
that was only for the
Studied.
week, and it was also
1 week?
It was just Shakespeare, and so
Where
we
else did you
did some
study?
Moliere and like restoration comedy, but all of it was Shakespeare, and I just was like, why am I here? But luckily, there was a clown from DC, this guy Floyd King, and I sort of saddled up to him, and I was like, I'm a comedian. I like to do comedy. But outside of that, I minored in theater, but I didn't really learn that much. The whole thing was in high school. I had this incredible drama teacher, Melody Duggan, and she stand-up was one of the sophomore year you have to do stand-up. No other
Yeah.
drama high school class. No.
Wow.
And then improv, and she would have us improvise, and sometimes she just didn't want to work that day. So she'd say, all right, everybody get up and improvise. And it was, as we were talking about, East High School was like mostly Black and Latino, and drama was an easy class. So it was hilarious. It was like the nerdy white kids, right? And then all these gangsters, like legit Crips.
Yeah, like East
And Bloods, actually, they were Bloods.
Yeah.
They were Bloods. They were Bloods.
Don't
I don't
kill
want them
us.
coming after me in Capitol Hill.
So
God damn it.
The high
I gotta
school-
rein it in.
Rein it in.
Rein it in, bro.
Yeah.
The high school I went to in Denver East, it's weird because they have really good academics.
Yeah,
it's in the heart of downtown. So there's like some kind of rich, smart white kids who go there because it's really good academics.
Yeah.
But it's in the heart of downtown. It's a public school, so it's like you're getting like rough.
And you get
good
get
at
all
sports,
these smart.
really good at basketball.
Rough kids would be code for black and brown.
No. Yes. No.
But also yes.
Yes.
Really good at basketball.
Yes-ish. But like one of my friends, this guy Will Simmerman, who's a brilliant photographer. He passed. He died, and he was one of the roughneck white kids who was really smart, but he wasn't in the accelerated classes. But like, there were white kids that are dealing weed, or they're just, there was all of that. But there were also a lot of black and Latino kids, Latinx, and there, but they're the smartest of those kids were also in the accelerated classes, and so I was too.
Because there's a lot of AP classes there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a weird school.
People are taking AP class. So here's the thing. I aced my AP psychology exam. So that was an instance of like, and no one aces it really.
Right.
But I was fascinated with psychology. That was my major. But so in these drama classes, she would be like, improvise. And all the gangsters were like, I'm not going to get up there and be like, bing bong. Oh, I didn't expect you'd be here. Well, what about me? Cousin 10. Oh, cousin, what? There's not
I'm in my tool shed.
Yeah. Let's. I didn't think you'd come in while I was sawing.
Can I borrow your lathe? What's a lathe?
And they all have guns in their car.
Yes.
That's
It's a
sort of
rough
the vibe.
school. It's a
Because
rough
there were metal
It's a
detectors
really
as we
rough
can.
school. Yeah, metal detectors. It's
But-
like Dangerous Minds, but with really good teachers.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's Michelle Pfeiffer, and so I kind of I was just improvising all the time for hours because we would have these block periods. So for 3 hours, I would just be on stage improvising, and I think that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so what I do in Silicon Valley and all these things, I really improvise, and I think the thing that a lot of people
Did you improvise a lot?
in Silicon Valley, it's completely.
Oh my God.
But Mike Judge is so funny.
What
All
kind
the
of a
writers are so funny.
monster
So I would
puts-
do both of those.
But I think what's gangster, what I relate to is that show was so big, you're like, I'm going to move on.
Yeah,
Everyone's like, what the fuck? You're going to move on.
Talk about
Most
also-
people were like, I can't believe he's moving on. I was like, yes.
And you know what?
Something I
will
relate
say-
to something with that.
So a lot of I talked to Michael Bay yesterday.
Never heard of him.
And I haven't either. And he called and I was like, Michael, what? I didn't even say who. I go, Michael, what?
Call me when you're
What do
serious.
you mean? What, the Bay? What are you talking about? Water? What are you saying here? Michael Lake? And Michael Pond? I would never call that man Michael Pond. But we were just talking
Just for
about
the
kind of
record.
being a maverick because I think he's a genre inventor. That guy like created a genre.
Legend.
He's totally legendary. And he's talking about maverick, and you guys are both mavericks. And that's just a word that I've been thinking about and talking about. And, talk about the media just being like, what would be clickbait and destroy the true story? They were like, oh, TJ was crazy. People were like, oh, yeah. I wanted to move on because I was like, I don't like doing things for more than 5 years. That's really true. And I got to the point, and this is how much I really care about the audience. I started being on autopilot.
Yeah.
I really
it's not
noticed
good.
that I was showing up
Too comfortable.
and I was just sleepwalking through it. Yeah. And then people will say like, did you smoke weed on set and stuff? And no, they give you fake weed, But I really thought I got to a point where it's like, I could be totally stoned this
still
entire
pull it off.
time.
And
I mean,
still
I
pull it
play a
off.
stoner
Yeah.
who's always high.
Yeah.
And I had gotten into the rhythm. It was 5 years because the pilot was 4 seasons, 5 years. And I could have just gotten high and kind of that could be my job and work right. I never get tired. So it's like I can get high.
Never
That
get
could be
tired.
my job.
Yeah, once
and
you
I
click
can-
into
and
a character after that, it's just you get bored.
But
you
the-
get bored and also you're doing a disservice to the audience.
But also the
Because I
level.
like this audience. I want them to think, and I don't want them to be like, oh man, that was such a funny show. And TJ was great. But then in like episode 5 and 6, they were really trying to like shoehorn him in there. I don't want that.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think
And
too, the
Hollywood-
level of success that show was at for you to walk away at that time. I think most people are like, I can't believe he's walking away. I go, oh, I'm a fan now.
So that's
Oh,
what
I'm in.
Hollywood. I
I'm
love
in.
that Brandon's like,
Yeah.
once he was no longer in the show, it's like, I'm a fan of that guy.
Because I like the show, but then when you walk
No,
away, I'm
it's
like,
true.
oh, that's some gangster
It's-
shit.
it's true.
That's
And-
some Denver East High shit.
Exactly right. That's some Aurora shit.
Yeah,
Bring a
bro.
gun into the theater.
What's up, dude?
So
Dark Knight. You
guys are
Dark
bonded.
Knight. And he's in the Joker. It all.
Oh my God, dude.
Together.
He just your hair becomes immediately curly. It just froze up immediately. And then I go get I try and get him on camera, which I think I should do right now.
Do it. Get Mark on camera.
The Joker.
Oh no, you're good. That's really good. Yeah. It's like you've been on a set.
It's just I forget to use the microphone.
It just shoots the top of Brian's head.
Yeah, that's right. That's it right there. And so, golly, now I feel like a cameraman more than a podcast guest. You know,
Nice,
it's almost
good.
there.
So impressed.
Yeah, so I got basically scored really high, you know, on just testing SATs and all that. And then went to George Washington University, and that's where I met Kate, actually. And so it's weird. I'm so lucky, but she's seen me from she's been at open mics. At one point, she was like, can you stop doing shows on New Year's Eve? And what she meant was, you ruin our New Year's Eve every year by doing shows. And so then I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do it. But she's seen the entire progression. She was there during Silicon Valley. And that's what HBO said. HBO and Hollywood was like, why are you leaving?
Because the system doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and
you finally made this show so successful.
so
Why would you
successful.
leave?
And I also had a component of it that was like, I was doing film and I was doing stand-up every night. So I do 14 hours. You know, I mean, you can be on the fucking set.
I shot schools right next to you guys on the Sony lot.
Yes.
So you guys
Right.
literally, so that my trailer was here, Silicon Valley's trailer was right here. You guys were all over here.
Yeah.
We were right next to each other. And I would do, he knows, I would be working a 16-hour day. I would schedule so I'd have an hour and a half to run to Santa Monica, do the podcast, and come back, and I do it in my fucking outfit.
I'd pressure him to not miss the pot.
because I
Yeah.
couldn't
You'd
miss the
come
pod.
in makeup
Well, and
and
it's
the full
good that
thing.
you
Thank
did it.
God you did, because you know.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's absolutely good. But because I was doing stand up every single night, and they had to move stuff for me to do, I also was like, and I had a psychotic break during that point. It's just as we were talking about before. And so they definitely were like, they gave me an out. You know, they gave me this really funny way to leave the show, which is Ehrlich is just in an opium den, and that's where he stays forever. So I thought that was so funny. But they also were kind of like, you know, this is hard, so maybe do you want to do 3 episodes out of 10 or 7 or what? And I was like, no, I think this is just such a perfect time to leave. It's such a funny way to leave. And the HBO was so sweet. They just were like,
Oh, that's good to
Are
hear.
you sure you really want to do? And I go, yeah. And I think that Hollywood in general, not HBO, I think Hollywood in general is like, but don't you want to buy a boat?
Yeah.
And that's the mentality. It's like,
God
didn't you
damn.
always want to be a TV actor, a TV star? Everybody wants
You like to
that.
have stand-up.
And I was like, no, I want to be a stand-up.
Stand-up.
And also, I don't want to buy a boat. I want to live in Manhattan with my wife and do stand-up
Sets.
comedy. And so that's kind of the impetus behind leaving. But now I have this kind of weird situation, this haunting conversation. Do you do the comedy zones? In
Yes.
Florida.
I'm
So
doing,
so you
Charlotte,
guys know.
November.
Yeah, Charlotte's the
Charlotte.
flagship.
Charlotte's the best,
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be there.
And
You're
I did Charlotte, and this guy Hef, who like runs all,
Love Hef.
Yeah, I
he
love
came
Hef.
to me. He's great, and he came to me, and we were talking, and he, you know, he's got all this stuff going on, and then I was like, you know, I think the problem is that people don't know that I'm a stand-up, so I'm trying to get more stand-up online. I did the
Think?
special.
Yes.
I think it's a big part of it. Either that, or I'm not a great stand-up, but they you know, they know me as an actor,
Yes.
and they're coming to see me as an actor. And then afterwards, like, whoa, he can actually do stand-up. So I think I need to show everybody that, because it's the acting, it's the film and television that's bringing them in the first place. And he was like, and it always will be. And I was like, what? And he goes, that'll always be the way that people will come to see you. And I thought it was so weird. And I thought, okay, he's talking about, no, this is existential stand-up stuff. He's talking about, I will always be more famous for film and television than stand-up, which is true, because I'm that famous
It's not a bad
for.
thing.
It's not a bad thing.
I mean, you made it.
and you
I
have people come and
disagree.
see you because of the podcast, but also because of your film and television stuff.
Mostly
they know you from all
mostly
that stuff.
podcast, because when Brian was doing Goldbergs, how many tickets did that sell?
3.
How about when you had your spin-off of school? How many tickets?
4.
Yeah.
But
See, I
he was doing shows like
No, I know
Silicon
Deadpool and Silicon Valley, so they're gonna come out.
And you were doing big shit, and you had like standout
time.
roles.
But then you've also had a bunch of specials, like your special on Showtime, then all the specials you've released. I guess maybe because you're from Denver, I follow it more closely. I've always viewed you as a stand-up. So when you get those,
but you're also a comic.
yeah,
You know
but
what
when
I'm
you get
saying?
those big roles, to me, I'm like, oh fuck yeah, it's a stand-up.
who's doing
Did you
that.
guys see?
But nobody saw the HBO. People saw the HBO special, but I was young. I think I hadn't done as much stand up. It was supposed to be really avant garde. I don't think it connected, but it was also a time.
Is that the one where you drink the water like a gerbil?
Yeah, exactly.
Me and my brother could not stop laughing.
It's so funny. But the
Like,
reason,
gerbils, it's out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He's like gerbils drink water like
And-
this. He goes, and it's
and actually,
he's
I
in the
riffed
middle
that.
of the set.
I riffed
And
that.
it doesn't even make sense. Water's everywhere.
but so
And it
that-
was so random, and it was so fucking just nobody would ever
It
do
is
that.
ridiculous. It's called
It was so-
meticulously ridiculous. It was
so-
absolutely ridiculous.
He goes, you guys ever see? It's out of nowhere. Just you guys ever seen a gerbil drink water? It's just like
And
wet
so
for the rest of the show.
I love shit.
Wet.
it's the best.
Yeah,
And so
I think comics appreciate
That's
it.
the greatest. That might be the greatest bit of all time.
was so
actually,
funny. Yeah.
That's fucking I love dumb shit like that more than anything.
Yeah, but you're prone to doing that. You'll just veer off and
I love
kind of,
that.
especially when you interact with the crowd, you're just you are very that. And so I kind of, I think the reason I did Dear Jonah, which is my special that's out on YouTube right now.
You just released that, right?
Just released it like end of September, and it's it ended up being so perfect.
And where'd you film
Because
it?
I was like in Nashville, Tennessee, and I thought, I mean, you guys know. So the second show in Nashville is essentially a bachelorette party, and they put a city in there,
Correct.
somewhere inside of
Correct.
there.
I don't know why, but
And
you're so right about
it
that.
just,
You know,
it
there's
just
most
is
bachelorette
that,
parties anywhere in the
It's
world.
the craziest
it's
shit.
the bachelorette
and they're
capital.
proud of
Yeah.
it. It's so
Yeah,
weird.
so
I know.
They're on
But
like
it's a lot of money.
Those
Yeah.
booze.
Yeah.
They're all, "Whoa!" You're
I
like,
saw
Jesus
one of
I'm not
those.
marrying any of you.
Here's how Tennessee this is right exactly. I'm not trying to break up any marriages with all of these annoying individuals. There was one of those and it was being dragged by a tractor. So it's like, how much are you leaning into this? And also the guy driving the tractor looks so sad. It was one of those weird things where you look at a man and he's just like, how did it end
He's
up?
like, I get it, dude.
I can't
So,
This is
believe
my
it's
valley.
Right,
I'm
he
in the
looked at
valley.
me,
I'm
he
the
just
bottom of the
goes,
valley.
Yeah, just,
yeah, he bought a
people are
tractor.
watching me do this.
He bought a tractor not to drive around bachelorette parties.
Yeah, right,
He was gonna be a
exactly.
farmer.
He was like,
And
I'm going to be a farm man.
He's just towing these warlocks.
They're
hammered.
so, yeah,
Whoa!
warlocks. It's great.
Warlocks.
They're in the back. I want another cosmopolitan. He's like, oh, Jesus. Yeah. I try and crash this thing, but it moves too slowly.
I'm at their
So,
mercy.
I
I'm
thought
at their
I-
fuck mercy.
I would crash this thing, but it only goes 10 miles an hour.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. I'm going to slowly go into Kid Rock's honky tonk. So we're, I'm there. I go, okay. The first show on Friday night wasn't great, but it was good. We didn't get it. And the second show, I go, look, this might be a fucking disaster. So if it is, I'm just going to riff with the crowd. We'll get that. Then we'll put it on social. And he was like, no, we still need to just do the set again. I go, I can't guarantee that. Then I walk on stage and I start doing the set and the audience is fucking unbelievable. They're so amazing.
And you know.
And I was,
Yeah.
you do know because you have that moment, especially in a special, you're waiting for that
know.
crowd.
Yeah.
You just wait and they're right there. And then this fucking drunk guy in the front row starts heckling me. And I'm like, just don't pay
sir,
attention
please,
to him.
please.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Please,
And
no,
I'm
no.
like, please,
Please don't do
just
this right
forget
now.
that
Yeah.
you're even here.
Yeah.
And he won't stop heckling. And he's the kind of drunk where he forgot there's other people. And so it's just me and him. And he goes, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, he's hilarious. He's looking at other people.
Every punchline.
And I'm like, please.
Well, you go,
And
that
finally-
never happened. You're all,
That's exactly right.
hey!
It was very much like that.
Kill him.
And so-
fucking kill him.
Oh, if you could like take him.
So then,
Anyways.
so then I go, I'm not going to kick this guy out. Let me just talk to him. So I make a joke. I ask him about his cargo pants. And he has the most elaborate reason that he wears cargo pockets, even though he doesn't have anything inside. But he always just likes cargo pants.
You're flat
And
earther.
as he says this, it's immediately clear he is not drunk at all. Oh, he's developmentally challenged. Oh, he's what do they call it? Somebody who's like mentally divergent or something. I was talking about it with my my neuropsychologist who I work on stuff, and she goes, well, now we call them intellectually deficient, and I was like, that's horrible.
Yeah,
that's really weird. That's not like
no
slow.
better-
That's
yeah.
you're stopped.
No, I'd
You're
rather
absolutely
call
stopped.
me retard.
Yeah, neurodivergent. That's exactly what it is.
yeah.
So he's neurodivergent, and it was so bizarre. Well, yeah, and everyone in the audience was like, "What's going on with it?"
you're
But there
seeing
was
the
so
drum.
much tension all at once, the entire room, because he's clear. He was talking like this, and so then I go, I want you guys to know that I am not going to make fun of him at all. And the audience explodes. They're like, ah, because they all were like, this is Weasel from Deadpool. He insults Ryan Reynolds and his face and all that stuff. This is Ehrlich from Silicon Valley, where he insults every single person. So they were waiting. They were like, is
God.
TJ going to be like, and I didn't at all, of course. And what I said was, broke the tension. And I sort of said, okay. And I complimented him and said, I like to wear things because they're comfortable also. And I don't need to carry things in them, all that. And I was like, okay, now we're going to move on to the next thing. But then he interrupts again. But hold on. I incorporate him into the show.
Oh, nice.
And then slowly, and this was really interesting, slowly I incorporate him. Then I ask him this. Then I make him a part of the nose flute game show. And so slowly, this show becomes really about him. And at the end, he has the funniest line in the entire show.
Wow.
And then at the end, the closer involves him. And it's ridiculous. And so it was going to be
what a
called the
happy
Pandemic Special. And then after I looked at an edit, and as soon as I got off stage, I was like, I think that's the special. And then Kate and the director, Arnold Aldrich, come in and they go, I think we're going to pitch that. That's the special, right? And I was like, that is the special. And so we renamed it from the Pandemic Special to Dear Jonah, because Dear Jonah, the guy's name is Jonah.
Oh, wow.
And it sort of became this love letter to this guy.
That went
and it was so
way different than I thought.
That
I know.
sounds so
I thought you were
good.
saying so. Then after me and the boys roughed him up in the back.
Right, in the back.
And now
no,
he's even
he
more
was
mentally
this
challenged.
pure of soul, pure of heart guy.
That's so cool.
And it was so
That sounds
interesting
great.
to, and so it's so interesting to see it, and you've got to watch all the way through. That is one of the problems, is that people now don't watch all the way through, or will
watch
come
5
back
minutes.
to it.
TikTok.
And it's only 45 minutes. It's not even an hour special. Yours is 50-38, I think.
I
And
did 30 minutes.
which is
I
great.
met with Netflix, Amazon, everyone,
great.
and met with the head people at Netflix, and like, we know for a fact people stop. Doesn't matter who it is. They stop watching after, what does that take?
20 minutes?
28 minutes.
So there you
They
go.
go, whether it's Dave Chappelle, Kevin Hart, Joe Rogan,
So crazy.
Bill Burr.
'Cause
We
they've
know
got-
for a
they've got
fact the
something else to
majority of
do.
the audience
It's such
stops
a
after
bummer.
28 minutes. And I go, then why am I going to burn my hour? Why
Yeah,
would I just
do
give you
two.
30?
Exactly.
Why not, and then break it up into two?
Here's a pretty crazy
They're like,
thing.
you're a moron.
After that, I went, and in 3 weeks, like 3 weeks later, I filmed a completely different special in Tampa.
This one's gangster.
Completely. It was pretty gangster thing, and it's really good. And I was
really
thinking
tough to
about
do.
doing both at the same time, but that wasn't
No.
going to work at all. But so then it became this kind of Dear Jonah thing instead of the Pandemic Special. A lot of it's about the pandemic, because I was like, I got to burn this
Yep.
because it's not
gonna
going to
be
make
too late.
sense.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that what was great about it is that it captures two things about me. One, I improvise all the time in my shows. It's basically a fucking jam band, riffing, crowd work, but also just talking about the city. I will talk about the city for 20 minutes.
And I've seen your set. I think that's your superpower.
Yeah, I mean,
that's where
really-
you're an outlier amongst other headliners.
Well, I think it's really, really fun to do that, but you've got to have stuff online to get people to be like, so the special perfectly shows that. And then it perfectly kind of shows that I'm like not an asshole. Like, it's so important for people to know who I am. And so Dear Jonah really shows people that, because I love this guy. Slowly I'm like, he's the best part of
And
the show.
Jonah's headlining himself.
I think it's outrageous.
He
You have
is.
to prove you're not an asshole. Anybody who knows you knows you're not an asshole.
I know, but a lot of
Anybody
people
who knows you as
don't
long
know
as
me.
I do knows that. That's
Welcome to the
farthest
Asshole
thing you
Club.
are.
Same
Yeah,
thing.
right.
I
Drives me
don't
nuts.
get it. I never understood.
Here's one thing that
I don't pay attention to it, so I've never thought that of you at all. But
Yeah.
I'll get the same thing too. Oh, he's an asshole. He's a bully. I'm like, whoa, you're barking up the
Well,
wrong tree.
also we match a certain. I don't mean to interrupt you,
No,
but I think this is really true. That we all match this demographic that people love to hate right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys even more so because you're like fighters. I mean, you're like fucking, you are the thing that so much of American culture right now is like,
rewind
you're
that
bad
edit. You
people.
call Brian a fighter.
I like
Not a
that.
fighter.
Let's hold on to that.
Oh my God.
No, yes, he
Brian's
is.
rock hard.
He's always going like this.
Yep. And my hands are crazy fast.
Yeah, you're so fast. Well, you had, that was, for a
You
little
saw it?
while, you had that. That
you saw
was,
that.
yeah, I love that.
saw that.
I love it. Ah! You know? But
I've never heard it about you though.
So they wanna
I get it
hate-
a lot.
I know that, but I just look like you guys more than I look like a non-binary.
And you're more famous. And you're more
sort of
famous.
cisgender.
I
Yeah.
don't know,
love
man.
our
You're,
famous.
you've done nothing.
I don't know, though.
Here's the thing important. Really, seriously. This, and I want to play something after this. You know,
Ryan's gonna get serious.
all you've done is like try to make people laugh, right? And
Yeah.
pretty damn good at it. So if you were to tally the amount of laughs that you've created, like it literally dedicated the past 20 years to just making people laugh. That's literally all I think about is how to make people laugh.
I quit fighting to make people laugh.
That's it.
Yeah,
I went
how to
from
make
being
them
mean
happy.
to make
It's
people
right
laugh.
there.
Did you see
that should be
fucking-
the ultimate proof.
Did you see
seen it.
fucking Chris DiStefano talking to Bert Kreischer?
No, about what?
Did you see that?
On his Instagram?
Yes.
I'll check it out.
Did you
What's it
see
about?
that shit? Holy
Just
fuck.
do you know Chris? He's in New
Watch
York.
this.
He's in Staten Island.
Well,
but
well,
Chris-
hold
Stefano,
on.
yeah, he's hilarious.
Because
Let
CD's
me
my
preface
boy,
this
yeah.
too. Let me
Yeah, I
preface
like
this
his
about-
special also. I watched his.
Oh, so good.
Let me preface
Especially-
this with how much. Here, I'm
especially
gonna
Weshy.
send this to you.
Especially
Here, hold on.
If it's on his Instagram, he can just bring it up here, B.
What the
Yeah.
hell is Chris? Why is it
Here, I'm
not
gonna send
showing
this
up?
to you. I'm gonna send this.
I think it's.
Is he shadow banned?
Is
No.
it D?
No, hold on.
No, there it is.
No, he should
No.
be verified.
DI?
Is it
I did
Chris-
DI earlier.
Is it
I
Chrissy?
just sent it to you. I just
Is it
sent it.
Okay,
to you.
See?
so I'll get it from Bryan right now.
So, like the amount of travel you have to do as a comic,
That is weird. Just Google it.
the amount of travel you do as a comic, and if you have kids, you know your kids don't see you as much as you'd like them to. Listen, I saw this morning, and I was like, man, I've never talked about this, but it's
About what?
You'll see. I've never spoken about this. I've never spoken about like how in some ways difficult being on the road is all the time.
I'm excited. This is an exclusive.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm glad to be on this particular
I
episode.
talked
Chan,
to Chrissy D.
thanks, dude. Chan knows what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about, bro.
I love this. Now it's not on his.
I talked to Chrissy
It's not.
D.
Which one is that?
I just.
Oh,
sent
this
it.
is Mr. Jason. Okay, got it.
I talked to Chrissy D probably a month or two
Love
ago
him.
because he was at, he has 3 kids now. He's so funny. But he
the
was,
way he
he was
looks is
asking
like-
how I navigate being a dad. He's like, you're such a good dad, blah, blah, blah.
Watch this.
And I said, I limit
watch this.
my tour.
Go.
Watch this first.
Yeah, watch
You
this.
don't
Just
chew
watch
as much,
this.
but
This is
you
fucking-
have that.
Just watch.
I
this.
put
that
them to bed
luxury.
and I do it at
Watch
night.
this, Bubba.
Yeah,
Watch
the
this.
girls
Watch
have the
this.
luxury of the
Just
podcast.
watch this.
Okay, sorry.
Hey, B, let's take a little break from
break.
chatting TJ Miller's ear off. You
Little
know
break.
he's from Denver. Now you do, buddy.
There it is.
Now
Little
you
break,
do.
little break.
Now, the one thing TJ will allude to this, I think maybe we talked about already. He doesn't know when to sleep.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get to sleep because I have a Helix mattress.
Well, because now let me explain something to you.
Please
you
do.
take a quiz. That people sleep differently. Some people are hot sleepers,
side
side
sleepers,
sleepers, back
tummy
sleepers,
sleeper,
whatever it is.
ass sleeper.
The Helix mattresses, they've got 14 unique mattresses.
Wow.
They have a collection of luxury models. They got a mattress for big and tall. They got ones just for kids, okay? So find out what mattress works best for your body because you only spend more than a third of your life in bed and it's the most important thing you can do for your health, all right? They will ship a personalized mattress straight to your door free of charge. You sleep on it for 100 nights risk-free. It's a risk-free 100 nights. They'll take it
Got
back.
nothing to lose.
They'll take
What
it
are we
back
doing?
if you don't like it.
Listen,
no
every,
questions asked.
Every bed I have in my house is Helix, all right? And all I did is I took the sleep quiz. They matched me with the perfect mattress for my thick ass. It's a firm bed, which I need, and I sleep on my side. They got me covered, all right? Not only is this the best mattress I've ever slept on, but it was set up fast and easy. Helix mattresses are delivered in a box straight to your door for free, all right? And they come with a 10 to 15-year warranty.
10 to 15.
So if you're ready to get the best night of your sleep, all you got to do is go to Helix, all right? Go to helixsleep.com/fighter, and you get $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for all the viewers and listeners of Fighter and the Kid.
HelixSleep.com/fighter. Come on.
With Helix, better sleep starts now.
Just watch this.
Okay, sorry.
Here we go.
Every single one of my daughter's swim meets. Yeah, I just made Sick a lot of money. And I'm like, but I've been watching my daughter's life on my phone.
Fuck.
What am I doing? Like, she's never gonna be 6 again, you know? And I missed like tons of her life. Yeah, I make this money, but I'm like, I've watched my kid's life through a fucking FaceTime. And I'm the only dad that has been in her swim meets and it just like killed me. Yeah. how do you do it? Because
Bert doesn't do it.
How do I fucking do it? Are you fucking serious? I can't tell you it gets better. Oh, fuck. I can't tell you it gets better.
Dude.
I've missed.
Wow,
Dude, I
that's
saw
pretty
that
fucking
and I was
real,
like,
dude.
Bro, I
You
saw
have
that. I
kids?
was like, I haven't.
No, and I'll talk about. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
dude.
Nobody talks about that. You know.
And people don't. And if you have kids, that speaks so clearly to you. And I do a podcast called Cashing In with TJ Miller. And I heard you have to say things 3 times. So Cashing In with
Thank
TJ
God you
Miller
made a
is
joke,
me
dude.
and Cash Levy. And he has an interview show. He has a tough time getting guests. So I've been the only guest on it in 7 years. And it's super fucking fun. It's great. It's great. There it is right there. Cashing In with TJ Miller.
Is he a comic?
Yes, a very funny comedian. But he has 2
Levy.
kids. He has 2 sons.
Yeah.
Different animal.
And he really believes in having kids. He said there's only 2 things that you never regret: jumping off a rope swing into a lake and having kids.
He's right.
And
right about
he
that.
really, he is right about that,
100%
right?
he's right.
And so he really says the same thing, which he really talks about, everything for these kids is on the weekends. And that's the only time you can work. And so, and of course, people do, weekday gigs.
Yeah.
But it's really, and so he says that's why I take the 6 a.m. flight and I get up at 4 a.m.
Correct.
because I want to be there for every moment that I can.
Yeah.
And I know Jason Bateman is amazing father, but he's talked about filmmaking like war.
Yeah.
That you go to war, you're not going to bring your kids to war. Right? You're not going to see your wife
You
when
can't
you're
bring
at
kids
war.
and wife on tour.
Can't do it. So I have 4 children that are frozen. I have 4 sort of human embryo children that are all frozen. 3 daughters, 1 boy, Miles and Alice, and 2 ones that'll die. Or be born of some other woman's womb. And so what a weird thing to say and have recorded forever. So just forever, just 20 years. You're like, what did happen to that
Your
guy?
kids are like, what the fuck?
He was weird about unborn children. And so, I really think that Kate, and I can say this because she'll never watch this. I can be honest about it. Kate is an incredibly talented installation artist. Which means she would come in here and the entire space would become something
The
different.
last thing I thought you were going to say. She's a really talented installation artist.
thought it
It
was a
sounded
joke.
like it got clipped in. It sounded like
it sounded
literally
dubbed over.
Somebody dubbed you over. She's a really
Installation
talented
artist.
installation
Yeah,
artist.
it's like she's a really talented installation artist. But
She's hired.
She's awesome. And her career was fucked by the pandemic. So was ours. So was everybody who did the things that make life worth living. Restaurants, comedy, all of it.
All that shit.
Small businesses.
And so she's amazing. Yeah, right, exactly. But I love you type so fast. You don't type anything.
Oh, Yayo. Yayo.
don't type anything
Kusama.
correct.
Olafar Elysian.
Olafar
Yeah, I know
Elysian.
him.
Hero Walker.
Oh, and the great
Look up Kate Gorney. Gorney.
That is I guess that is a serious thing, though. Yeah.
I'm still
What is
confused
an
about what
installation
do they
artist?
do?
Yeah.
Kate Gorney. Gory.
I do type too fast.
Yeah, so that's her.
Wow.
So she's got a lot of look. She does really, really amazing stuff. Like click that Kate Gorney art, just the And so, but if you go to the
Arpeggio?
Once Broken, go to Arpeggio. I can't even pronounce it.
Archipelago.
And so she does this crazy shit that's, just amazing,
artist.
bizarre.
Yeah.
And so she really wants to do that, and she's doing really well in it. And I have to travel quite a bit every weekend, not every weekend, but I could
2-3
not,
weekends.
right now, I couldn't do 2 or 3 weekends a month. That's just, and I don't want to because I want to do stand up. I want to be getting better at stand up.
You wanna do 4
I want to be a
weekends.
great stand up. Yeah. And I want to perform during the week sometimes too. And I think that she has really kind of, I guess, I don't know necessarily, but I think she's kind of like, unless you can do that, then I don't know if we can have kids.
Yeah, unless you
especially in
can fully
Manhattan.
commit to being a pop.
Unless you, and that you can have the time to do it,
That's so
And-
wild. Look at her work.
Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome,
it's just crazy.
What the fuck?
Just the craziest.
Is that a person or is that a
No, it's mannequin.
damn?
And that's something that she knows. And so it's like, I think that that's the problem is, and what Cash has said is, that it is two things. It's the greatest job in the world.
Yes.
There is nothing better than you being on stage. It's just you.
I'll do it until I die.
And yes, you're making hundreds and hundreds, thousands of people laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also going to completely fuck up your ability to be a father like other fathers.
Correct.
I said to Chris though,
And they're mutually exclusive.
but I
You
text
can't
Chris
do both.
today. I said, my dad was always
texted him
gone.
today?
Yeah, my dad was always gone, but
Different
I love
time.
my dad. And what I knew is that like part of it is also this. Remember, yes, Chris isn't seeing his daughter, but she's going to be proud of him. There's
Of
a lot
course.
about him. Like that dude is.
He's such a good person.
We're
He's a
also,
good dude.
We're also
Good
in a
dude.
small fraternity of people who
Yeah.
can make anybody laugh anywhere at any time.
Mm-hmm.
That's very hard to do for an hour. Try that. And so
As a
Yeah,
headliner?
no one.
Yes.
As a headliner?
No one. And so that's rare air. And it does take all of you. And it does take the weekend. And so there's a lot
Oh,
though,
it takes
that your
everything.
kids
right,
are
B?
proud
It
as fuck. It takes everything.
Not only the
It takes
weekend, during the week, people
takes
don't
everything.
see.
Of course.
People don't see it. I'm doing 4 to 6 nights a week, so I put my kids to bed. They don't know dad's working at night. They wake up at 5:30,
But then
6
you
a.m.
you can be there for them during the day.
Yeah.
You have different
When you're there, it counts.
different types of time
Yeah.
than other fathers. But I just feel so strongly about what you just said. And I also, one joke that I was going to tell your audience in particular is when you say fraternity, you mean a brotherhood.
Yeah.
But so much of America is like, oh, another frat boy, huh? Interesting. So it's just ridiculous.
No, I mean-
but you are a part of a group of people who really went after their dreams and made it happen.
Yeah.
And that's the type of role model you want to be. Not the guy that's there every week and yelling, Dad's so embarrassing. He comes to every game and he's always telling me what to do and how he can be better. Right. You don't want to be someone.
No, dad never took any chances.
He was
played
just
it safe.
he was a dentist, but he did really well as a dentist.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to work on me. It was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, how is that guy a better, again, role model? So much of what your kid should be is the best parts of you, and then their own thing.
Yes.
Something that's
Yes.
not you at all.
Setting a great example, but
Yeah.
loving your kids is a huge part of it.
And there's a lot of fathers, right? And I really believe this. There's a lot of dads out there that really are like, God damn, it didn't really work out for me. So I'm going to push my son to be the thing that I
And then
wasn't.
also hate on the others that do pursue their dreams. It's called Reddit.
Yeah, it's called Reddit. It's called a thread about you in particular. I really, really feel like you want to be, and none of us, the three of us, will never be like, God, I hate my job.
Never.
You can say, I hate the travel, which I don't say, but
I don't
maybe
either.
one day I will.
I feel so lucky to be able to do it.
Yeah,
Like,
but
despite
you-
the fact
you're-
that I just feel so lucky.
And you've been
I-
doing it for 70 years?
Yeah.
If
I've
I
been doing
can
it
really,
forever.
really just have a huge compliment party right now,
I feel
just
like you
because
guys
I
did that.
know him much more than I know you.
Yes. We're from Denver.
You've
though.
always been, and also fuck this guy. I don't know. God, can he hear me now? I don't know a goddamn thing about that guy, except he is not from Denver. Is that, I'm going to say it over on this side too. I don't know a goddamn thing about that. You know what? I'll do in the middle. I don't give a shit. But you have always been a role model to me. As a comic, I've always looked up to you because of your philosophy. I've said, and people have stolen this and put it on their HBO show, but I have said from the beginning, that comedians are the philosophers that we have now. And that's why it's so dangerous to not let us speak frankly, because we're able to package a philosophy and give it to people in a palatable way. It's not a fucking TED Talk, but it can be just as brilliant and
effective.
insightful
Yeah.
and effective.
appreciate
You're
that.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
And people will listen to it and walk away and be like, huh. But you've always been that to me. And then on top of that, so grateful and so happy for other people's success and so happy for your own success, but in a way where you're like, look, if I can do it, you can. Always good to younger comedians, but fuck that a little bit because they can't take in everything. always good to the people that have been doing it longer than you, but most importantly, to your peer group. You have always said to everybody in your peer group, I'm happy for your success. I think what you're doing is amazing. And if you have any questions for me or think that I can add anything to your experience of doing stand-up, know that I am here and I'm always available. And that is such an incredible thing because so many comics can't do that. And the reason they can't is because they're not as self-assured. They're not as happy about you. The only other person that I know that's really like you, except for Brennan, is Cash. Cash Levy has a way that he is like, I'm the luckiest person on the face of the planet to do this.
I have to give back.
And what I have to sacrifice for it is this. And just even hearing you say, I'm kissing the kids goodnight, and then I'm fucking doing a set because that's what it has to be. And also, I think that the three of us, I feel very fortunate for this. We are not motivated by ourselves. There's just nothing about the three of us that is like, man, oh yeah, it's about me. Dude, these people love me. That's only present because you go, God, I'm so lucky that I can do a thing that makes them be like, and it's so bizarre because a lot of comics that talk shit or not even woke, just like think they know the way to do it because they're doing the best and people don't appreciate what they're doing. They just don't have as much to offer as somebody that's really on stage, and there's altruism. We want people. And so because of that, I think we are the absolute luckiest. I like rare air. And we also are going to be good fathers, good friends, good husbands, rubber ring. And I got to break. I'm being too serious. I got a rubber ring.
It's a good rant.
I got a rubber ring.
But I'm quitting stand-up after this because I've arrived. I've done it.
No, yeah.
And you have done it, but you also...
He's been doing it, though. That's the thing. Nobody gives Bryan credit. Bryan gave me my start, right? Like, firing the kid live.
No, but I wouldn't say everybody gives Bryan credit. Anybody that knows you knows exactly how good you are, how hard you work, why you do it, and that you're an all-around amazing dude. And that's your real... That's who you really are.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. That's why I married a 22-year-old. This
33 years old. She is.
That's what she tells people to get into movies. There you go. His hair just rose a little bit on that one.
It did, right.
And I am not going to go over and move the camera. That was a fucking disaster.
That was a lot. How funny was that video I made free for the merch?
Oh my God, that was fucking funny, man.
Did you play that, Chin?
I play that video. It was so funny.
Find
We were laughing so hard because I got married.
Bryan was getting married. He just
I'm terrible at merch. I've never sold a shirt in my life.
Bryan's never got his shit
I'm not
together
a
as far
business
as
guy.
merch.
I'm the worst businessman.
So the day he's getting married, I send Bryan this video.
Oh, so
You're
funny.
so
It's me in the glasses, Chin.
So funny, man.
That's the other thing that I think comes across with you.
Yeah.
Let's watch this.
Watch it first?
I have to.
We were laughing so hard. Watch this because I'm
What's up, B? I know you're getting married. Chris, you probably didn't know this, but our friend Bryan's getting married today. It's a big deal. I couldn't sleep last night. I was thinking, she married my friend for the right reasons. He's 65 years old. She marrying you for your merch money? Think about it. That new. I'm trying to new merch, dude. That official Bryan Callen merch. I mean, dude. I don't know. It just smells fishy. That merch is just starting to pop. And I'm sure you haven't walked down the aisle yet, and it's just something to consider. Is she after your merch money?
Yeah, do a prenup.
Do you think she's just marrying you for your official Bryan Callen merch?
Cowl.
Just saying, dude. Think about it. She's young, hot, 69 years old. I don't know. It just smells fishy. You know, just something to consider, dude. I don't want to start any shit. I know you get married today, but
on your fucking wedding day,
Dave's wedding.
It was so good.
Oh,
we
that's
were
so
laughing
funny.
so hard.
Yeah, amazing. But I think one of the things about you is that, well, not in this video, actually, you just negated the thing I was going to say, but you come across as a guy whose values are in line and, you know, with Bryan, with everybody that we love. Ben Askren's a really nice dude, too. He saw me in Milwaukee, and I love him. And I did his podcast.
Yeah, he's a really good dude.
But anyway, so I think that comes across from you, too. And so I just think it's hard to be a father in that capacity, but you're a much better father, like you're saying, than if you, and kind of a better father than if you were still fighting. You know?
100%.
Because that's also a different thing. It's stressful. And then your kid is kind of like, so my dad beats the shit out of people for a living. That's just a hard thing to explain.
It's a tough gig, and then
I would assume, I don't know.
It's the same with comedy. Like when you go in as, when you go into on tour, you can't have your family. You know how it is. Like my girl, like, oh, you're in New York and Boston. I'm like, yes, I could be in Iraq. It's all the same.
Yeah.
I'm just working. I need.
That's why Bateman
I'm
said
riding.
it's like war. Yeah.
And then in fight camp, it's like 8 weeks, and then you have the little ones around. They're waking up early. There's no way you could do it, man.
Dude.
There's no way to be present. There's no way.
and that's such a bummer. But it's
Guys do it.
Pro sports, you do have to be completely about yourself, right? I mean,
Tom Brady's getting a divorce because of it.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people have been talking about that. And I think Cash and I talked about it on the podcast, and it is he has this like feeling that no one else has, which is being the best at something.
Yeah.
And
The absolute best.
he doesn't want to leave. And when he said, I'm leaving, she was like, okay, I've held out for this long. And when he's like, I'm going to go back and do more. I think I understand, but she's a woman and she's like, I'm not going to fucking do this.
She's like, enough's enough.
And Kate broke up with me because I was in Chicago doing stand-up, and I said I was going to move to New York, and I said, just wait for me. After 6 months, then after a year, she's like, when are you moving up here? I was like, I just need a little bit longer here. And then at 2 years, she was like, are you moving up here? And I was like, I need a little bit more time here. She was like, well, that's it. So she broke up with me, and it was so fucked up. And yeah,
Fucked up.
I'm pissed off at her. But she can honestly, she doesn't watch, so she can go fuck herself right outdoors, not even in the apartment. And
Right outdoors.
and directly
nice
out the
day.
door.
It's a nice day.
We should hope so. Maybe she should do it in February. But I think that it's just such a, I don't know, man. I mean,
Grind.
Yeah, it's such a grind. But I think that she now wants to do that for her work. And I kind of joking was like, well, we kind of want to have kids. And so it took a really big conversation where she was like, I need more time. And she totally fucked me because I was like, oh, I did that to you, didn't I? And
But
she's
how old
like,
are you? How old are you,
Damn.
TJ?
We're both
similar.
41.
Okay, so yeah, you're 2 years older than me. And then she's 41 too? Yeah? 41.
It was kind of time, but I think
Hillary Swank's having twins.
yeah, and
like
she's
50.
in her late 60s, early 80s.
She's
Yeah.
74 years old.
Early
Having
80s.
twins.
She has twins?
Late.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, there's all of that also. But I think what is weird is you have to understand the woman's perspective of I'm kind of a full-time mom 60% of the time or whatever.
Yeah.
Or 40% of the time. So that can be frustrating.
I was watching
and
that
difficult,
fucking
but
documentary with the
look how
Redeem
fucked
team.
up news.com.au.
know.
Sad truth behind stars pregnancy at
them.
48. But that should be all you need to understand that it's all bullshit. It's all
Thumbnails,
clickbait.
man.
Oh,
You just gotta
online,
get
yeah.
clickbait. You got to get
Such a
somebody to do
bummer.
that.
Well,
Yeah,
it's a
anyway.
bummer online, like promotes negativity. Like, because if someone says, if they tweet out or they post on Instagram, TJ Miller, best special I've ever seen.
Yeah.
3 likes.
Yeah.
Because the algorithm doesn't pick that up. Now, if
Isn't
someone
that
says,
fucked up?
it's the fucking worst, 70 retweets. And
Yeah.
the algorithm's like, yeah, get them. It's like, what the fuck are we doing?
Did you see the Redeem team on Netflix? The story about the Olympic team when they brought Kobe in, when it was LeBron James, it was Carmelo Anthony, it was the fuck is his name?
Carmelo
Bosch,
Anthony,
Bosch,
yeah,
Chris Bosch.
Bosch, yeah.
And they lost. They'd lost a bunch, and then this was the Olympics and stuff. And they talk about fucking Kobe Bryant.
With Paul Gasol, you talking about the clip I sent you?
Yeah, but I'm talking about, I saw the documentary.
The whole thing.
Yeah, and they talk about Kobe Bryant and how they all were training and practicing. And then they all went out one night. Thought, let's go out, man. We're in Vegas. Let's fucking go out.
Yeah,
for
you
one
got
night.
to, man.
Hey, those big days.
4 in the morning. 4 in
Right?
the morning.
Am I right?
Yeah. 4:30.
You're not wrong.
No, you're not wrong.
He's not wrong.
No, do this. 4 in the morning. 4:30 in the morning. They're coming fucking back into the hotel, and Kobe Bryant is sweaty. He just finished lifting weights, and now he was going to the gym. And they were like, "What are
Different
you
animal.
doing? What?" And the amount he would train, I
see what
don't
you're
know how
saying,
much
yeah.
time he had at all for his kids. You would know more about that. If you had
I
time
don't know
for
what he does with his
anything.
kid.
man.
Yeah, I don't know. You're talking
Fuck,
about
man.
complete,
Completely. They were like,
Committed.
nobody was like that. Nobody was like that motherfucker. And then all of a sudden they tried to start coming down and meeting him at 4:30 in the morning. And Carmelo Anthony was like, it's just too early.
Yeah.
It's too fucking early.
Yeah.
I can't do it, man.
Yeah, I remember. when I-
Everybody leaves and he keeps throwing
Yes.
free throws.
Never went out and never hung out with anybody. He would always sit separate.
recluse.
Never would fucking hang with the
But they all respected him because his work
Well, I
ethic.
mean,
But I remember when I was first
Also like
headlining.
being on the court with him.
Yeah, but also I remember when I was first headlining, I ran into Kevin Nealon at, I forget what airport, maybe like Chicago airport or whatever.
Yeah.
Kevin Nealon, it was 7 years ago. Kevin Nealon, we were talking. He was like, because we met at Adam Sandler's party, not to name drop. We met at Adam Sandler's party, and he was like, "Oh, what gig are we doing?" I was like, "Oh, I was doing Schaumburg Improv, whatever." He's like, "Oh, cool." And then he was like, "You have more dates coming up?" I'm like, "Every weekend, man." He goes, "Oh, you have kids, right?" I have one boy right now. He goes, "Don't tour as much." He's like, "Take it from me, do not tour as much."
Wow.
He's like, "You regret it for the rest of your life." I was like, "Okay."
Wow.
I regret it. I regret the
Kevin
amount,
Nealon, you
the,
know.
the
Yeah, no,
amount of
he's one of
time.
the
Legend,
greats.
legend.
Yeah.
I miss my daughter's birthdays over and over again. I regret all of it. Like,
Yeah, I've never missed a birthday, but
I did. I regret it.
Yeah, but here's the thing, man. And I understand you become emotional looking at this, and I don't have real kids. I don't have living children.
That fucking got me.
My children are suspended in time.
They're frozen.
What I think though is that it's so hard to divorce yourself from the reality of that it's other people's values. That a birthday is society's special moment. And the kid absolutely, of course. But if you think long game, then they're not going to care about missing a birthday if you have both been there for them all that you could. And
I
also
agree with you.
that you explain to them. Kate she's diverged from this a little bit, but one of the things that I loved about her was that the anniversary, I need more rain. I got to rein this in.
Get rain down your throat.
Oh, it's terrible. And so what I think is I loved about her is she wouldn't really do the whole like, you forgot my anniversary. One time we both forgot the anniversary,
God bless
and then
her.
we were like, you know
Bless
what?
her.
Let's do something really fun. We should celebrate this. And I think that she is good about us saying like, well, you know what? I'm going to miss your birthday, but let's
She
plan
gets
this
it.
and do it another. And so I think you have to help kids understand that.
I remember my girl
There's going to be a lot of peer pressure, but you
when
have to help
Boston
them.
turned like 2, I was on the road, and I was like, my son's name is Boston, and we turned 2. She wanted to throw the party on a Saturday. I was like in San Antonio or whatever. I'm like, well, he's 2. Throw the party on Sunday. He
Yeah,
has
he
no
gives a
fucking
shit.
clue.
Yeah, he doesn't
I'll take a
know.
5 a.m. flight and be back on Sunday. Just throw it Sunday for God's sakes.
Right.
And that was a no-go?
No, she did it.
So cute. Yeah, I think that's the reason. And then, teach the kids early that is the deal. Can I ask you a question as a fighter?
Yeah, 8 inches.
But that's how long your ears are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say, brother?
Because Ben Asker and I talked about this for a second. But how do you feel about that your ears, that you're fighting and that you've been hit in the face so many times?
Wait, but about my ears? The
Yeah.
ears comes from jiu-jitsu wrestling.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
It's like a badge of honor. So this
yeah,
is,
this exactly.
it's a badge
That's what
of
I
honor.
thought it was.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yep. He earned them.
So you got to earn them,
Hey,
and it's like it's a badge of honor. And I remember when I first came to Hollywood and I retired from fighting, I did this pilot on E, and it was like with all these big names and Alyssa Milano, all these huge names, and they're like, "You're so good, this is gonna get greenlit, and we're gonna order 48 episodes." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm balling. Here we go."
Yeah, of course.
So I'm waiting for it. 4 months goes by, and I'm hitting my manager, this low-level manager. I'm like, "Dude, where are we at?" He's like, "Well, when I hear something, I'll fucking tell you, dude. Relax."
Yeah.
Finally calls me 4 months later. He goes, "I have good news and bad news, man. I heard from E." I'm like, "Here we go, baby. I'm gonna be so fucking, this is gonna be sick." He goes, "Okay, so the show's not getting picked up. For whatever reason, it's not getting picked up." He goes, "That's the bad news. The good news is, have you seen Botched?" I go, "With the doctors?" He goes, Yeah. They're big fans. They want to fix your ears for free." I was like, "That is not, I'll get kicked out of the MMA community, man. They can't fix my ears."
Yeah.
He's like, "I think it'd be better. It's kind of a distraction on stage, your ears." I'm like, "Who the fuck's staring at my ears?" He's like, "I'm just telling you, man, you'd be on the
not
episode."
a
And he,
distraction.
listen to this. This is what kind of manager I had. He goes, you could be on the episode to fix your ears. You could promote your dates. I was like, "Oh, no, you have no idea how this works. I'm out, man."
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I was like, "This
Wow.
is a terrible idea."
Well, I was always interested in that. Because
So my ear does look like a tortellini, but yeah.
No,
So
but
my-
here's the thing, though. I always wondered, because it is kind of a badge of honor, because if you walk in somewhere and you have kind of the cauliflower ear,
You know not to fuck with that.
nobody's going to fuck with
No.
you. Because that guy has not boxed a little
Especially when you're
bit
his size.
or done some MMA
Yeah,
on
that
the
guy's
side.
been through some
It
shit.
is, that
It
is
takes
not somebody you're gonna fuck
Yeah.
with.
It's not like
Yeah.
you're gonna train for 2 weeks and your ears blow up like this. Like that guy's put in some time.
How long did you?
He's gotten hit in the face with with somebody's foot, with someone's leg.
At least, yeah.
How many years did you?
Not even
jiu-jitsu?
this. It's leg time.
We're talking legs.
How long
talking
did you
leg
roll
power.
for total?
Oh shit.
Jiu-jitsu?
2006 to so probably 14
shit.
years.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Oh,
Yeah.
that long?
Yeah, black belt. Yeah.
And so, when you fought, were you very methodical? He's probably you guys have talked about this a
No,
thousand
please.
times. Were you very like methodical and looking and thinking about the technique and
No, I was
stuff?
terrified.
Or did you? No. But-
Terrified.
Really?
Terrified.
And so was it like I got to get out of this situation, kind of?
Yeah, as soon as I could get out, I would get out, and that's because I was fighting. I remember I was fighting Andrei Arlovsky as I was like
It's so fucking.
I was like the co-main event in
fascinating.
Vancouver, but me and Bryan started the podcast before that when I moved to LA. So me and Bryan were doing Fighting the Kid, and I'd walk through the airport and people were like, "You're hilarious, dude." And I remember TSA said the TSA guy goes, "Oh, what are you in Vancouver, dude? You doing a stand-up here?" I was like,
That's awesome.
I was like, "Do you not see the billboards? I'm fighting Andrei Arlovsky, dude."
But that's so
and he goes,
cool.
"For the UFC?" And in my head, I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm getting traction here from
Yes.
what I've always wanted."
Dude, you should have seen how terrifying it is, though. He would have to fight another monster who was 265 pounds. If you make one fucking mistake in that ring, one mistake, you go to sleep. Because it's not like being a 155 pounder. Your head's the same size. Those guys, if
Yeah.
they
I have a
jab you the
small
right
head,
way,
too.
if
But
they
you,
jab you the right
I
way-
was
small
asked
head too,
because
TJ.
I talked to. It's not
Acknowledge
that
my
little.
small head.
But it was
It's
the
not that
training.
little.
It's
For a
the
heavyweight?
training.
I have tiny ears. They're so small. I
you do
can't
have
even
small
hear
ears.
people making fun of them.
But it was the training that they would have to do. So he would get in the ring with giants, and they'd be swinging for the fences. So you're in the ring, and you know they wear that headgear. It does nothing. You know that. It does
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
All it does is stop you from getting cut. It does nothing. And then you have these gloves, and he would have to be in there with somebody he didn't know who was a monster kickboxer,
yeah.
and they would just go.
I brought Bryan to camp with me. I had Bryan come to camp with me.
So have
like,
you?
in the hood?
You know how to fight though.
Yes.
Well,
Okay, so he can.
Yes.
But you could kick somebody's ass, and I could
TJ.
also, but I would never.
we're from Denver East. You know how to fight.
Yeah, I do, but very softly.
But I remember
and
when
I won't fight Bloods. I'll fight a Crip.
Crip. I'll fight
for a
Crip.
I won't
comic,
fight a
for
crip.
a comic, I'll keep you busy.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah. But I remember when I was fighting like Crow Cop, who was former world champion. I remember I was like, "This is the worst gig in the world." Oh
my God.
And then
It's
when I
such
did
a
the interview,
scary
and I beat him, I got the knockout of the night. I beat him, and I did an interview, and they're like, "How'd it go?" I was like, "It was horrible. I'm terrified."
That's so
I was like, "I don't want to
funny.
do this," and they were like, "Cut." No, talk about how
Yeah,
your
how
next
awesome
fight.
it
And I'm
was.
like,
I gotta-
no.
So-
I hated this.
so I
looked
asked-
up to that guy. He got knocked out, dude.
Oh, good lord. Good lord, what a strange pair of shorts. So I'm friends with Gina Carano because she was in the first Deadpool.
She's great.
And she's amazing. And I asked her, said, how did you go undefeated? And she was like, just rage, just pure, unadulterated rage.
I'm the opposite.
And so that's what I was going to ask.
Opposite.
Because she said that really was, and Ben Askren was different. He kind of was like, I come from wrestling. I had to sort of incorporate that into the thing. And that's, I think, why he had a tough time in that boxing gig because he was stripped of half of his skill set.
not a boxer.
Completely opposite.
Never even worked at
And he
boxing.
was really,
Yeah, my
he
thing
seemed
is like,
really upset about that, and he was, and I said I never saw that, and he was like, oh, good, but I was like, has so much to do with, yeah, you're taking away.
but I remember my coaches, like even in training, when I was ranked top 10 in the world, my coach was like, "You gotta get meaner, man." I was like, that's not what I do. I can't.
I saw that in
I
practice.
was like, literally,
You
I
didn't wanna hit
can't. I was like, I can't do. Like, you have to get meaner in order to be a world champion. Like, then this ain't for me, man. I remember I got ranked top 10. My coaches threw me like a party. I walked in the gym like top 10 in the world, and in my head I'm like, oh fuck, dude.
Now I
that
have
means
to
I got to
fight
fight
for top
9,
10.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
And when you lose, there's so much more to lose on a macro scale.
Yes.
You know?
physically your health.
Yeah, 100%.
It's also so embarrassing. So like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
if I have a set tonight at the Improv, I bomb. All good. I'll do another set at the store. laugh
Yeah.
at
Not
people.
clutching
I
in
don't
the
do
air on the
myself.
ground.
No. So it's like when I bomb, people are like, "Oh man, that didn't go well." I'm like, "Yeah, all good. I'll go redeem myself tomorrow." Fighting, it's like I get knocked out. I got 6 months to think about it, and then I got to get the backlash online. They're gonna play that
I
highlight.
saw him one time when I went to pick him up after the Arlovsky loss, I think, and the Rogan thing.
Oh, that's after Travis Brown. That's Travis Brown. I have a black eye.
And I
no, hold on. This is off Main Street in Venice. We're at Groundworks Coffee.
He
Brian
trained
goes, meet
so
me for
hard for
coffee.
this.
Brian goes, meet me for coffee.
Yeah, he trained so hard. I was with him the whole time. He trained so fucking hard. And Travis Brown comes in, and Brendan just didn't want to fight. And long story short, it ends with the guy on top just hitting fucking Brendan. They call it off. It's done.
Fucking nightmare.
And he goes like this. I come over to him as he gets out of the cage, and he goes, "I tried." I go, "It's okay. It's okay." He goes, "I tried." I go, "It's okay." And you fucking go, and I see you, and I go, "I'm picking you up." It's the next day, 2 days later.
Yeah.
No, it was after. Yeah, it was actually before Rogan.
Yeah, before Rogan.
And you're just lowest point of your life. And I remember I took a picture of you, and I have the picture.
It's hilarious. Black eye.
I have it on my
I'm in a
Instagram.
tank top.
And you're just
a
sitting there, and I
gay
go,
tank top.
I'm going
like
to take
that.
this picture of you.
Purple with a
I go,
dolphin on it.
I'm taking this picture of you right
Sequins over
now
the nipples,
because
yeah.
this is the lowest point of your life. It's very important to document.
Brian Gizek goes, lowest point of your life. Hold on, let me document
Hold
this.
there, stare there, and boom, like that. And we had it, and it was just like, well, we're in the valley. Sometimes you're at the top of the mountain. Other times, you got to get to the valley.
But I was
the start
lucky.
of one mountain is the beginning of the next mountain is the top of the first.
I love that. It's true. It's anything to be able to be like, this was you're going to have a false summit after this.
No, you've seen Rocky, right?
Yeah, here's the thing. You're in a stream and you want to get to a Michael Pond or a Michael Lake. And then you climb the mountain. And then the false summit was just, I guess there's another valley. So you're going to do that. And then you're going to be on the plains for a while.
It's never going to be the same.
Straight
You're going to the plains for a little bit, and then you go valley again.
Is there any other way?
Plains
but
to valley.
Is there any other way in life? Is there any other way than to eat dicks most of the time? Especially, here's when everybody here has been in these situations, and thank God.
I thought you were going to say, everybody here is eating dicks.
Everybody here is eating.
We've all eaten dicks before.
Everyone here has a
Dick
dick in
eaters.
their mouth. Let's be honest.
Every one of us here, at least, has been in a rowboat in the middle of the ocean with no land in sight and no paddle. That's the nature of real chaos, where you're like, I'm in the middle of a rowboat and I don't know, I can't see land, and I actually don't think I'm going to make it back. I actually have no strength in my arms to paddle.
And I think that, again, just to go to Dear Jonah, it's like that stand-up special, I was sort of like, well, we got to say it 3 times. That stand-up special, I was just like, God, please let this go amazing. Because I financed it myself, and I was going to finance the second one.
I know,
and I was
good,
like,
brother.
please, please, please.
It's a different animal when you finance yourself.
And I was like, please let this go well. And so many things had gone bad that when it went amazingly well, it was just so great. And I remember Kate and I, she was there for that special. And I remember we sort of finished the second show Friday. We had this thing with Jonah. I was like, this is it. And we just went back I'd rent a penthouse because I was like, we're not going to finish this thing and then go into like a shitty hotel room. I was
Motel
like, let's
like, we
actually
did it.
ball.
Yeah.
Let's actually ball.
Let's flex a little.
And so we got that, and we just went back to this fucking room and just partied. We just were
the two of you?
like, fuck yes, 100%.
Yeah.
That's my favorite way to party.
Yeah.
It's just her and me, because we know each other since college. So when we're ready, when it's appropriate,
She knows
the
what's
time
up.
comes, it gets messy
She's
in the
Spud
best
Mackenzie.
possible. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is bananas. And so we just did that, and we kept saying to each other, we're like, we needed this.
Yeah.
Like, this is so awesome that this happened. Yeah. It's real. Kate kept being like, it shows the shape of your heart. And I didn't want to be like, just shut, that's fucking weird to say.
Cool.
So I just was like, that's awesome. That's a really great expression. Give me the whiskey now. And so, but when it's those things, right? Then you love them so much more. They're so much more celebratory.
Smelling the roses. I think
And then when
do it
you go
yourself,
down, when you go and you have the worst fucking stuff, to me, when that's happening, and I'm still like, well, wait a second. I'm a stand-up comic. People are so nice to me in New York. I'll walk down the street and someone will be like, I love you, man. I'll be like, I like your shirt. And that's great. And I'm married to this like homie from college who happens to be banging.
Yeah.
Just a really good looking lady where when we walk down the street, people are like, he must be rich, or something. He's got an 8-incher somewhere in there.
Yeah, or he's
Somehow.
blackmailing her.
It's
Somehow.
he's blackmailing. Something's going on
Something's
here.
going on there. This doesn't
Does
seem
she
right.
work for him?
Yeah.
Does he work for her? And when you can be at those really low points and still be able to be like, God damn, I got some great friends. then you know your life is great.
Correct.
And when it gets to those really high points, then you can
Gratitude.
really get into them. And so I think that's a big part of it. Have you noticed that people have been saying correct more?
I don't know.
Because you guys both just said correct.
I've been saying it a long time.
I believe that because you make fun of your age. But I am concerned that no one says right anymore. I think it's really weird. And it's been happening everywhere. And I bring it up and no one is paying
I
attention.
didn't notice.
It's the fucking
Correct.
strangest thing.
Correct.
I feel like it's like a tight.
I think it's the misinformation on all the social
like-
media apps.
Correct.
Correct.
Not
it
misinformation.
sounds weird to say it, but it
Yeah.
feels like a Twilight Zone thing where
Now I'm
no
not gonna
one
say
knows
it.
they're
It's a
saying
New York
correct.
thing.
And
I'm not saying it anymore.
It's a New York thing. Like me and my friends in New York used to always say it a long time ago. If you said something like, well, but he'll also punch you in the face, if it's something like you go, correct. In other
Yeah,
words,
but that's
in other
funny.
words, what we're doing is we're correcting.
Yeah.
What I do, I use it when you're correcting, like, need I remind you, right?
Right.
You can fuck around with him, but you pull his tail for long enough.
oh, really?
You pull your head off. Yeah.
Or,
it's
oh, really?
Well, that's correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
But I love, see, that's the perfect way to
That's
use
not
it.
And
my
Now it's just
vocabulary came from Bryan.
So are you, you're okay. You look better. Correct.
Correct.
Which way are you supposed to turn? Left or correct?
Well, no, it's better. He's a
Chin.
nice
I
guy.
got chin on
He's
that
a nice
one.
guy. He's a nice guy.
I put a camera on
Yeah.
you, but I know you'll
Yeah.
be pissed.
No, you use it
She
like
was like,
this.
"Fuck."
You use it like this. It's always a reminder. Good guy, fucking great guy. You fuck with him, kill your family. Correct.
I think that's the right way to use
correct,
it.
sir.
But
now
everyone,
it's coming-
everyone stopped. One day, everyone stopped saying right.
Or yes.
Yes.
It's just
Yeah.
correct.
Correct.
Right is the lazy kind of like, yeah, I'm listening to you and I'm
Right.
letting you know I'm listening to you. But when you say Miami has the best looking women on the planet,
And then if I say
that is correct, sir.
No,
But
when
if
I
you go-
say, if
if
you
you
say
go-
that, I say, you are married.
And I say thank you.
but
No, you
also,
say correct.
Correct.
And she'll beat your fucking ass.
yeah.
Correct.
But also, if you say Miami has the best looking women, I go right. That sounds like I'm doubting it. Right.
Right.
Yeah, you go right. You're right.
Yeah.
That used
I'll
to be
say
the way
no
it
doubt.
was.
No doubt.
Well, no, there's an argument when you go like this, you go, yeah,
yeah, but
Yeah.
I think you can do right. I think you tell me.
What do we do in
Miami
Denver?
Miami has the best looking women. I usually go, oh, ooh.
Is that how you come?
That's it. No, it's how I say correct. When I come, I go correct.
are you coming?
Are you about
coming?
to come?
Correct.
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 Are you erect? Correct.
Correct.
I am
Are you erect?
correct.
Correct.
No,
We've covered a lot of ground.
I think that's it, man. I think we had
covered a lot of
It's
fucking
been
ground.
so
Is that
great.
it? Correct.
We got
You're
emotional.
correct.
I
I
wanted
get
you for
kind
a
of
while,
emotional.
man.
I hope that people make it all the way through, just like Dear Jonah. I'm hoping people watch all the way through.
They will.
Because
They will.
the ending is so
wait
absolutely
to watch it.
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you guys to see it.
No, you're
you
the-
might shed some man tears. I don't know. you know?
never know.
You're the front runner for all Denver comedians, man. I've been a fan for a hot second.
I'm hoping. Well, I love that you're from Denver. Isn't it weird how, and I'd like to exclude you from this.
Please do.
Okay. Incorrect. It is weird how people from Colorado, specifically Denver, people from Colorado, I get along with all of them.
Oh, yeah.
I really
Right
haven't
away.
met a lot of people. And I think it's because if you grew up in Colorado, the weather is so amazing
Yep.
that you're happy.
Yep.
You're just automatically kind of, as more days of
And
sunshine
memories.
You're not
anywhere else.
jaded, yeah.
Yeah,
Did you
you're not
start?
jaded.
I'll end. Did you start at the Comedy Works?
No. And she would never really work me. I started in Chicago. She would never really work me. And then she still kind of didn't. And then I got to a point I was like, I'm just going to do the Gothic theater. And because I'm a Denverite, they really, really, I have a very strong Denver following.
Yep.
And then I have a small group of people in Denver that feel very strongly about me.
Yes.
And so I am kind of controversial there, but for the
everyone
most
I know
part,
loves
everybody's
you.
like, yeah.
Denver. I mean, born and
But
raised
isn't
in
it
Denver.
weird? It's a Colorado thing, and everybody. I've met a couple of people from Colorado, even people that live there, and they're just cool.
They're
I
nice.
just really get along with them. They're nice. Where are you from originally?
Saudi Arabia, Philippines. His dad was the
I
CIA.
lived overseas. my
The
whole life.
Philippines.
It's a lot to get into.
I
We
lived
don't
right
have time.
overseas. All my
But
New
what-
York, New York.
But Wendy at
Yeah.
Comedy Works, she wouldn't pass me forever. And I was like, I grew up, idolizing that place. I told my agent, I'm like, you gotta get me in there.
I love Wendy.
So then finally she was like, I'll give him a Wednesday. So I did a Wednesday. She watched the show. And then the following year, she offered me a weekend. But for
Great.
4 years, they wouldn't let me in there.
It's a great club.
Amazing.
But sometimes it can be a real low-dough drunken disaster for sure.
Yeah, just right off there.
And my audience is like, but the Gothic people really come, and I want to do a special there.
I'm surprised you haven't done the Paramount yet.
I did my HBO special there, and it was
Slight
great.
flags.
But the Gothic it's just cool. It's a rock club. It's on Broadway. It's in the
how much
South
is
Side,
it?
kind of 500.
Oh, perfect.
And it's great. And it's got a really cool look. But, as a person from Denver, yeah, you're always excited to meet somebody else because there aren't a lot of us in sort of the stand-up community.
No,
but I think you probably meet people from New York and you're like, fuck this guy, but you meet people but the majority of New Yorkers, I think, are really cool because, especially New York City, there is this unspoken thing where it's like, if you can do it here, we can do it anywhere.
It's like,
but
it's
kind of
like being a surfer in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like New York,
you came
Boston,
to play.
you
Yeah.
came to fuck.
You're
It's
like being a
you
gay
came
guy
to
in
play.
LA.
And in Boston, it's nice because you're a quiet racist.
You're quiet.
Correct.
Well,
Correct.
Any town that doesn't you can't get away with nonsense, right? Working class town, New York and Boston, they're not going to laugh at you unless you fucking earn it.
No.
Because they just go, "Hey man, I work for a living. What are you fucking saying?"
Yeah, I
over
don't care
there?
how famous
Make
you
me
are,
laugh,
nothing.
you fucking
Yeah.
dummy. Like that's
Yeah, and I think there is a nice thing about that. But yeah, a New York audience will change drastically as to how they feel about you when you say, "I live in New York." When you're like, I live in
they're
Manhattan, I live there, and they're
You're not
like,
outside.
okay, that's really
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
But if they think, oh, this guy lives in Los Angeles and he's just in town doing stuff,
Yeah.
fuck this. What
tough
the
gig.
fuck is
Yeah,
this
it's
guy?
tough
Yeah.
gig. Well,
But-
are you on tour, TJ?
I am on tour.
Bring it up,
You
champ.
can find out
Bring it
TJ
on.
Miller does not have a website.com. TJ Miller does not have a
funny.
website.com.
funny.
Because the guy who owned TJMiller.com wanted $2,000 in like 2003. I said, I guess you don't know how search engines work. You piece of shit. He didn't email me
So
back.
Louisville.
So yeah, Louisville coming up. I've got
October, was
Yeah, I'm
that
doing
14th to the
Skankfest.
15th?
Yeah, and then Washington D.C. the 20th and 21st.
Great area.
And yeah, it's a lot of fun. So go TJ Miller does not have a website.com.
Appleton.
Instagram is Teenage Millionaire because that's how I dress a little bit.
You and
Used
me
to wear
both.
chains a lot more. Yeah, that's
Me
real.
and you both.
You look
Teenage
like
Millionaire.
you're both. You look like a high schooler who's really confident, but before you leave, you look in the mirror for like a full 10 minutes.
Yeah. And I'm like,
You're like,
I guess
does
we'll do
this even work? Yeah, I know. The fatigues. Yeah, they should know. I'm
I'm-
fucking badass. Look at that, huh? Oh, yeah. Badge of motherfucking honor right there.
the greatest description I've ever heard.
I think
take it.
yeah, it could be real. Could be real.
I'll take
Teenage
it.
And then not TJ Miller on TikTok and Twitter, as people use that. But subscribe to my YouTube. And the biggest thing is watch Dear Jonah.
Watch
If
the
you like
goddamn
it,
special.
Share it.
Dear Jonah.
He's one of the
subscribe.
funniest dudes in the world.
Or
He's
if you
from
don't-
Denver.
Yeah, it is. It's a Colorado thing, you guys.
Hey, Colorado.
And,
Everyone from Colorado should watch it unless you're a terrorist. How about that?
Exactly.
That's the message.
Mass shooter. Right?
Yeah, if you're a mass shooter,
God.
don't watch it.
Yeah,
I'm in
we-
San Jose this weekend.
Yeah, you are.
San Jose Improv, October 13th to 15th. That's this Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Next week, I'm at tell your pops come by.
Salt Lake
City. Wise Guys. Shout out
The
to
best.
Keith.
I love
the best.
fucking Keith goes
October
amazing.
20th through the 22nd is Wise Guys, and then I end October in Calgary. I'm at the Rooftop
club
on the
too.
27th. That's a Thursday, and then I added a show on Friday. The Thursday's almost sold out. Houston, San Antonio, and November is in Texas, San Antonio and Houston.
LOL.
Get your tickets, fatkz.com or thickboy.com.
This weekend, Bridgeport, Connecticut, Stress Factory, October
play
13,
Brady
14,
Club.
15. Have you done that?
You love
Stress
it.
Factory? Yeah.
Love it.
Schaumburg, Illinois, Chicago Improv, October
Not Chicago,
27,
though, is
28,
it?
29. Nope.
We were just talking about Charlotte.
Comedy Zone, Charlotte, North Carolina, November 10, 11, 12. Then Naples, Florida, December 1.
Yeah, Off the Hook's really funny too because they're all older, but the guy's like, "My name is Captain Bryan," and you're like,
best.
"Nice to meet you, Bryan." He's like,
Captain.
Bryan."
Dude,
love
and
it.
I went, hey, I'm almost 40. Do I have to call you Captain? He goes, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, because he is.
I went, all right, Captain.
Well, Brad,
He's a good guy. Once you know
he's
him,
the best.
like if he was a douchebag, he's like,
he's
it's
great.
Captain. I'm like, you're Brian, bitch.
he's
I call him,
but he's
great.
such a nice
Bryan
guy.
with an E
Yeah.
also.
Brian Spina. I know.
He's such a nice guy. I was like, I'll call you
Great
Captain.
guy.
You know we're actually real deal stand-up comics because everybody had to read where their dates are. That's how fucking insane our lives are that we're like, next weekend I'll be
I know.
in Naples, Florida.
So true.
We just have no idea. And you don't remember where you were. People be like, where were you last weekend? You're like, I don't. You can check my website.
I kept thinking
No
I
clue.
had fucking amnesia. I was like, I can't.
Oh no,
remember where
I
the
just
fuck
I just
was.
talked to him with CT. My brother's like, "Don't you remember here last year?" I'm like, "He's my tour manager."
Yeah.
I'm like,
I don't remember.
No, dude.
It doesn't
It's all the
happen that
same.
often, but you guys, sometimes you wake up and you don't know where you are.
Yes.
Yes.
You're like, where am I exactly?
Yes.
Because the hotel rooms all pretty much look the same.
know.
And then I did a thing, I'm still kind of doing it where I try and stay at like a cool hotel.
That's
or
what I've been doing
something.
lately.
And it's good, but it's like, you're still in a hotel. So
Yeah.
the part of
I
me
do
is like,
Airbnbs,
I don't
too.
need to.
Yeah, it's tough.
I do Airbnbs.
Yeah.
And
Do you
that's-
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. I never thought about
And
that.
I do it with
It's
my with my
easier. You don't
feature and
feel as
my-
much
my
on the
MC.
road. Yeah.
That's really fun too. Yeah.
All right, TJ, we fucking love you, dude.
Dude, this
Go
was
watch
so
your special,
great.
Dear Jonah.
Dear
Denver's
Jonah.
finest.
I love it.
You're the
Thank
captain.
you
of the
guys to be on the
stand-up.
Fire and the Kid. I'm
You're the
such
best,
a fan
brother.
of
Always.
both of you.
You're always
we
welcome.
love you, man.
Don't really care for the podcast. Haven't really listened to it. Certainly won't listen to this episode. I would, because I was there and it.
'Cause I lived it.
It was a doozy.
I lived it.
And
no,
also correct.
so yeah.
This is my favorite podcast ever.
Ever.
Because you were
TJ,
so
we love you,
complimentary.
brother. This is Fine
Thank
Kid.
you.
We're out.